Okay, guys, how you doing? Welcome to week 6. So week 5 is in the books, so to speak, or as will be as of later on tonight, it being Sunday. So week 5, we had the discussion on defining a design, defining a style, and I thought that was really interesting discussion back and forth. So good job there. We continued on the everyday hand tool, and we also talked a lot about, as you can see my writing here, we talked a lot about creating clean, accurate paths using the pen tool in Illustrator, and specifically learning how to create, convert, and delete and add anchor points to paths in order to create seamless transition between points. So, and why is this important? This is important in relationship to the hand tool assignment itself, because as described several times in previous descriptions, the hand tool exercise is to be approached as an infographic type of assignment, informational graphics. Information graphics is something that needs to be very, very specifically clear in its intent, because you're portraying information in a way that needs to be very clear. In this case, you're showing how to use something in a manner that is contrary to its original intent. So as you can tell, the delivery or the mode of communication has got to be specifically as clear as possible. How do we attain that in illustration? By using the pen tool to create clean, accurate contour lines depicting the use of said hand tool. Very, very important to keep this as clear as possible. Number one, for the aid of communication. Number two, in information design, the delivery has got to be crystal clear. You cannot, I mean, think about how many times we've sat there and looked at instructions for something, a piece of furniture or something, electronics or whatever that you need to put together, and you're just swearing at the illustrations on the instructions because they don't make sense. That's what we are trying to work against. So somebody, a complete stranger, not even aware of what the project is, should be able to pick up your hand tool and go, oh, wow, yeah, definitely creating a tool for scratching my dog out of clothespins. That makes perfect sense. And it should be that clear. And one of the ways to achieve that kind of clarity is through the pen tool as opposed to other tools in Illustrator. Okay, so moving forward into week 6, we're going to talk about how designers strive to be unique in the delivery of their communication. And in doing so, I think that's pretty intuitive for design students to understand. The more unique your approach is, the more successful it's likely to be. So we're going to take a look at this week, and we really want to take a look at this upcoming week, and we have a busy week. You're going to be finishing and submitting your final presentations for the hand tool, and we're also going to be gearing up for the new project, which is you're actually going to be designing money. It's kind of cool. It's a cool project. Probably not going to be quite as fun as the hand tool, but it's going to be a little bit more demanding in terms of research. So let's take a look at that project, shall we? Okay, let's jump over here to Paper Currency Begin. And let's just go to, let me see here. Let's take a look at that Paper Currency Begin and see what we have. So as we can see, as the page opens up, we have these requirements in this overview that says, indicates that you are going to choose a country of interest and design a new currency that supports their government, culture, and economic structure. Okay, what is that? That points directly to research. So in other words, how do you know what the specific country's government, cultural, and economic structure holds unless you get in there and research it? So you can't just say, okay, I'm going to pick Iceland and I'm just going to go start designing money. You have to research Iceland, find out iconic historic events, find out natural resources that could be used for interest. Natural resources from education, from departments of defense, from departments of interior, from space programs, from cultural and social programs, and really research this together so that you can put together a piece of currency that's going to be A, believable, and B, interesting and unique. Okay, so here is your deliverable. So well, let's just take a look at this week's. This week, you're going to begin by submitting thumbnail sketches and a brief of a one-page outline. And your outline should discuss the culture that your currency will represent and how you intend on meeting those needs of the culture through your design. In other words, the results of your research. Okay, and these are going to be, you need to submit at least 16 thumbnails. That's 4 for each currency. That's 4 thumbnails for the dollar. Let's say you're using a dollar bill, and I'm only using this for demonstration sake, but you have a dollar bill, a $5 bill, a $10 bill, and a $20 bill. So you would need 4 thumbnails for your dollar bill, 4 thumbnails for your $5 bill, 4 thumbnails for your $10 bill, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so what does this mean? Okay, and how do we do this? And this is a really good example here because it's using American currency. And that's something that we all can identify with. So this particular case, in both of these examples, the designer has elected to present the $5, the $20, and the $100 bills all in different sizes. So that's really interesting, and that's something that is relatively, well, I shouldn't say relatively new, but it is a new idea in the design of currency because the way that the paper feels and the way that it holds and the way that it folds should indicate some sort of indication as to its denomination, especially for people who can't see as well as others, and some other accessibility issues that point to different sizes in money, indicating different denominations. So that's an important consideration. Next, we have how do we delineate the look of each piece. So we see right here that we're using historic iconography. In other words, we have the eagle, the bald eagle representing America. We have the American flags representing America. And then we have these other little stamps and things that the designer decided to use to really make this look believable. We have the denomination placed on its side. The axis has been rotated. Okay, so the denominations are all consistently placed, and this is a very successful set of currency, I would say. This one is a little bit different. It's not quite as obvious as this, but we have the sailing ships, we have the soldiers, and this one's kind of a tip to the hat to the military, United States Armed Forces. This one is a tip of the hat to the space program, United States NASA space program. This one I think is America's Cup. I'm not positive if this one could be going back historically to American sailing ships, so I'm not real sure about that one. But again, note, this designer also decided to use the same type of different sizes for the currencies. Also, so let's just take a look at, like, what if you want to do, let's say, Spanish currency? So you would definitely take a look, and this is really a great example right here. This is showing that you can get into a lot of pattern making in Illustrator and really develop these really believable patterns that are quite ubiquitous in monies and currencies from different countries. So this is a historic figure, of course, and you can do this. I just said Spanish currency here, and we can go up right up here and say, let's just say Russian, and we'll see different examples of Russian currency and note the difference in style. A lot of this points to constructivism, which makes a lot of sense. But again, you'll see all historic figures, so these would point to research, like who is that and why is it significant? Who is that? What is this a depiction of, and why is it significant to your depiction of Russian currency? Okay, and again, all points to research. That's really, really important to understand the amount of research that's going to be required for the success of this project. Okay, guys, I think that's all I have. I didn't really want to keep you even this long because I know there's a lot to do this week, but we do have critique this week of Projects 2 and Projects 3. That means you're going to be critiquing you're going to be submitting your final submission for the hand tool, as well as your first iteration, your beginning stage of the paper currency. So we'll have 2 things posted in a critique board and 2 things to comment on as well. And then we have this discussion, research and culture. I'll leave that alone. You guys are doing fantastic in discussion boards, so let's leave that alone. All right, guys, that's what I have. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns moving forward, please feel free to let me know, and I'll be glad to clarify. All right, everybody, welcome to week 6. I will see you guys in discussion board. Thank you.